Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Timer Tip Tuesday. I'm Matt Avery, and today we're going to be going through setting up leaderboards and race day scoring with a new feature, HTML scrolling exports. So we're going to get started in just a minute here. I'm waiting for a few more folks to arrive. All right, looks like a few more have arrived. So if you don't already know how to use GoToWebinar, we do have a questions panel on the right that you can use to send in any questions that you have. My friend Chris McDonald is on the back end. He'll be helping out answer any of those questions, and he'll bring up any points that I need to address as I'm going through the slides. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So gonna be a pretty quick one today. Nice, probably done in about 15, 20 minutes or so. Just going through a few quick bullet points. Why should you use this new feature, HTML scrolling reports? How do you create them? A couple of tips and tricks and some planned enhancements we have coming eventually to this feature. So let's go. So why should you use these new scrolling reports that we have? First off, leaderboards are just a really great supplementary way to show results on site. If you have a big screen monitor or display to be able to do this with, it'll, in addition to standard text and email result notifications and maybe kiosks on site, the leaderboards are just pretty cool because it allows people to congregate and see things up on a leaderboard. It looks really professional. The reason why we like the HTML exports in particular is that it supports any report in RaceDay scoring. There have been other features like using RunSignup's leaderboard links and using the RaceDay hub links. Those ones are limited in the types of reports that you can publish to them. They're limited in the amount of data that you can display. With the HTML scroll exports, any kind of report that you can create in RaceDay scoring can be sent to an HTML file, and now you can scroll through them automatically. So things like age group reports and reports in multiple sections, you can set up this new feature with. The next thing, the display devices don't need RaceDay scoring installed. So you could use a Chromebook to power a big, large screen, and you don't need to worry about getting RaceDay scoring installed on it and updated and all that stuff. HTML files can be loaded on any device that has a browser. So again, Chromebooks all will work just fine, or any other computer, even a Mac will work just fine as well. And finally, you can use Dropbox, Google Drive, or other services to sync these files to other devices easily and automatically. So the autosave basically will be able to update the file periodically, and then that file will sync over to your Dropbox account and then sync down to any devices that are linked to your Dropbox account, for instance. So this is a really simple way to publish or automatically sync any kind of report that you want to turn into a big giant leaderboard. So let's figure out how to do this. It's pretty straightforward. First step is you need to create the file. So there are two steps. First, you have to create the file, and then you set up an autosave that points to the file that you've created. So to get started, go to the reports, select export on a dropdown, and click HTML scroll. This will work again for any kind of report. In this example, I'm just doing an overall, but it'll work for anything. You'll get a little settings menu where you can customize the scroll speed as well as the font size. You can also change this or customize this in the autosave configuration later. This is basically just creating a file one time that you will be able to. The autosave settings update periodically. So right here, you can go ahead and set it to be whatever you want. but remember you can override this in the autosaves later. What's important is after you click Save Settings, you have to select the file that you want to output to, and you want to do this on Dropbox or Google Drive if you plan on syncing this file to other devices. So now that you've created the HTML file, you can go and look at it and check out, see what it looks like. Once you've got that all sorted and it looks good the way you want it to, you can create the autosave. So go ahead and click Autosave Settings, and you'll see the traditional ones we use all the time are the RunSignup results and the RaceDay hub kiosks, but there's also a section to autosave to file. So just expand that section and use the little plus button under the HTML area. Next, you'll see a bunch of different settings that show up. You want to set how frequently you should automatically save this file, set the file path to the file that you previously created in the last step, then enable HTML scroll. So here you can set the scroll speed again and the font size. Finally, click the green button, Add Stream, and then at the bottom of the page, click Save Settings, and your autosave will be running, and as results get added to the scroll, they will get updated automatically. And the way that the scroll works is that it won't reload the file until it reaches the bottom of the report that it's currently scrolling through, at which point it'll update everything and then continue to scroll through again. Okay, so a few tips and tricks that we found that help you out with setting up your best experience for scrolling results. Create custom reports specifically designed for leaderboard display. It's not always the case that the default reports look great for scrolling, depending on what you're doing, especially if you have a lot of split data. It's not going to be nice and easily readable for people who are looking at it. So I like to just remove columns to show only the ones that are the most important, so you can make the text as large as possible. If you're using an age group report, think about limiting it to only show the award winners, so you're not showing all of the depth through each and every age group. That's a nice way to display just the award winners in your scrolling leaderboards. It might be nice to build separate reports to show like the top 10 males and the top 10 females. Maybe have two sections in a single report, top 10 males and the top 10 females, or two different reports and open them up side by side in a browser. Building combo reports to show maybe like top 10 finishers per event in one single report. That could be a really cool way to show, hey, here's the top 10 in the 10K and here's the top 10 in the 5K, and it just scrolls through that. If you do build a report with multiple sections inside of it, you can edit the report section headers to be more descriptive if you are customizing the filters. So if you built a filter to say, only show me the top 10 males in this report section, you can edit the header of that section to say top 10 males in the 5K. Next, as we always say, test, test, test. Try out the different scrolling speed settings and font size settings with a device or display that you actually plan on using to make sure that it looks good. You don't want it to scroll too fast so that people won't be able to see their names on there, and you don't want it to be too slow so it never gets through the entire list. Resolutions on different devices and different displays have an impact on the actual size of the font, so you really would want to plug in your monitor and check it out to see what it looks like on your actual display. A final little hint here, I found this nice handy open as a pop-up Chrome extension. You can just Google this. It's an easy way to remove browser tabs in navigation. When you open up an HTML file, it opens up in your Chrome browser or whatever browser you're using. If you're using Chrome or Microsoft Edge, the extensions are really easy to use, and this open as a pop-up basically just makes the page that you are currently looking at its own pop-out window with no navigation, no tabs. It's really nice and clean. So what you can easily do is create a couple of reports, open them up in your browser, and then open them all up as different tabs. And you can orient them on the screen. So half is one report and the other half is another report. So you could show things like, hey, here's my males and my females side by side. If you're only doing one report per display, full screen mode obviously works just fine. Those are some tips and tricks on getting started. We do have some plan enhancements that we are definitely planning on getting in the future. So one thing that we really want to do is actually add the report title, always pinned to the top. Right now, when it scrolls through, it just pins the sections title that it's scrolling through. We don't show the report title itself. Some further down the road items that we want to work on are adding a customizable header that could allow you to add in like the report title, as well as other information like the race date, location name, the timer name, or custom text. You could add in things like, what the weather was like, what the course conditions were, things like that. Especially for cross country, they like to see that. Next item is we want to be able to include the timer and race logos in a customizable header. So we're thinking you could put in the race logo in one corner, a timer logo in another corner, things like that. High contrast display options so that you could change it to be black on white or white on black instead of our default colors, and giving you the ability to define your own customizable color options. So they're all some of the things that we're thinking about adding in the future. Again, always let us know your feedback as you use this, how you're using it. If there's any improvements that we can make, we would love to get your feedback on it. And that's all we have today. So if there are any questions at all, feel free to ask away. Chris, was there anything that you saw?
There's nothing so far.
Cool. So I'll hold up just for a minute here, see if there are any questions. Yeah, so Jeff is asking, could this work on an LED display board? Well, it kind of depends on the LED display. Some of them we found you can just plug in like they're an HDMI monitor and it works just great. We've had a lot of timers use our leaderboards on these LEDs that are able to display or work like any PC monitor. They plug it in with VGA or HDMI and it just works. So it totally depends on the LED display board that you're using, Jeff. All right, if there's nothing else, I think we are all set for today. Thanks again for coming out to Quick Timer Tip Tuesday, and we'll talk to y'all next time. I think we're doing a session on our new announcer functionality that Crisp is going to be going through. So join us next time. Talk to you later. Bye.